Alright, what's up guys? Today I want to talk about travel drones. Which one is better, which one you should spend your money on. Now I know I'm not really a tech review channel, so this is literally a review based on stuff that I genuinely use. I'm not one of these channels who's getting sent all this tech, spent my own money on this stuff, and I'm going to tell you what I like about the DJI Spark and what I like about the Mavic Mini, and if I could only buy one, which one I would buy. So this is the pros and cons, both drones. So the DJI Spark is the second drone I had. The first one was the GoPro, but that one was full of bugs. There's a reason they don't make it anymore. The DJI Spark was the first real drone that I kept and got a lot of use out of. I took it on a lot of my trips with me. It's been an excellent travel drone, and I've done things with it that I didn't think it would actually be able to do. And it's always produced for me. I really like it, and it's got some great features that the Mavic Mini is just lacking. But I'll get into those in just a second. There are definite pros to the Spark over the Mavic Mini. However, the Mavic Mini does have a lot of really good features. I like the double the flight time of the Spark. I like the fact that it has a longer range than the Spark. I like the fact that the weight of it allows it to skirt a lot of the license laws in a lot of countries have, 249 grams. Most drones start to get regulated once they're 250 grams or over. So what I like about the Mavic Mini is that the case holds everything. You have the battery charger, the remote, everything in there. The remote also has the joysticks that screw on, and it makes for a better package. The Spark doesn't have that, and I was always kind of worried that when the remote was in my backpack that I might mess up the joysticks and render the remote inoperable. One thing I absolutely hate about the Mavic Mini is this cable. You have to plug that cable into the remote and then into your phone, and that's a huge pain because the way that this cable works, it doesn't fit in any phones that have a case. Also, I used to use a dedicated iPad mini as my drone controller, but I can't do that anymore because when you do use an adapter, the formatting is wrong with the app that you use for the Mavic Mini. I had to buy this little adapter that's micro USB on one side and regular USB on the other, and then use a standard iPhone cable to actually be able to run the remote with my phone and without taking off the case. This was a huge pain in the ass. I really didn't like it, and this is a definite disadvantage over the Spark. This shit just drives me nuts. And also the fact that with this whole rigging it up and having the case on, the remote barely even fits it. And with the Mavic Mini, you have to run the remote. It's not like the Spark where if you wanted to, you could really just run it with a phone or an iPad and no remote. So that's something definite disadvantage for the Mavic Mini. One thing I do like about the Mavic Mini though is the battery compartment, which my GoPro didn't really capture. So it folds up and it will keep the battery in there even if you crash, make it a little easy to find. And I also like how it came with this gimbal protector. That was a big thing. I bought an aftermarket one for the Spark, but the Mavic Mini just came with it. When it's folded up, the Mavic Mini is very small. However, another thing I don't like about it is the way the propeller's attached. They have individual screws instead of just push and turn. So if you have to change them out in the field, you might run the risk of losing some screws, and that's some definite downside for the Mavic Mini. But like I said, the weight and the fact that you can actually run it in a lot of places without having, commercial drone license or registering the drone or anything like that is a definite plus on the Mavic Mini side. But if you want to run a phone case, that's going to be a huge problem. There's a lot of other things. Although I do like the app that runs the Mavic Mini a little bit more. It's very quick to start up. There's not a lot of hassle, and it runs really well. I haven't had very many connection issues, which is a good thing. I have had a few with the Spark. The only problem that I also run into with the Mavic Mini is since I live, in a mountainous area, I'm already well above sea level, and it gives me a lot of high altitude warnings, even though the drone is only 100 meters off the ground. It flies really well, it handles wind really well. Overall, it's starting to grow on me more and more. So the case for the Spark is a little bit smaller, which is nice. It doesn't hold everything that goes with it, unlike the Mavic Mini, but all the other stuff it doesn't hold isn't very fragile, so you can just toss it in a backpack, it's no big deal. I did add a battery retaining strap that the Mavic Mini pretty much comes with from the factory. I also added that gimbal protector, which the Mavic Mini comes with from the factory. So that's pretty nice. The case itself holds extra propellers, your batteries, and the drone. Good to go. Also, like I said before, I just love the fact that the Mavic Mini, or that the Spark, can be run just through Wi-Fi. So this little iPad that I picked up for really cheap, I use that as sort of my viewing window through the drone. You get to see a lot more clearly, you get some better resolution, and if you're flying through something that's a little bit sketch, you can work with it. You just have to hook up to the Wi-Fi that it generates, kind of like a GoPro, and you can fly it. You really don't even need the controller. You could fly it just with an iPad or just with a phone, anything like that. It's wonderful. It's a big plus to the DJI Spark. I will get into what I think is the main benefit in a second, but let's look at some of the video. So this is the Mavic Mini footage. This is on the CinePro mode in the auto setting. There is no manual mode for the video. I also like that the gimbal can tilt upwards, something the Spark can't do. So this is the Spark footage, and it's running in 1080p, which is the highest resolution you can get. And this is also in auto mode, even though you can manually select ISO and shutter speed. I just figured it'd be fair comparison running auto mode. So in the side-by-side video comparison, I really like the CinePro mode on the Mavic Mini. It sort of slows the reaction from the controller to the drone, and it eliminates some of the choppiness that you can get with the Spark when you're turning it from side to side. I really do enjoy that. I also like the 2.7K video resolution, although in the auto mode it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes the Spark looks better, sometimes the Mavic Mini looks better. The Spark can look better when you put it in manual mode and you're actually adjusting it for the conditions. You're setting your ISO and shutter speed up for the particular shot, although it can be kind of a burden with the lower flight time of the Spark, so it's hard to tell. They both seem to look really good, and yeah, it's really difficult to tell. But let's get into some of the stuff that I really don't like about each drone, and what really makes the choice between the Spark and the Mavic Mini very difficult. Okay, so where the Spark really stands out as a travel drone, totally beating out the Mavic Mini, and this is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about in the reviews because they're usually getting paid by DJI, or they don't actually use this stuff as travel drones. The two biggest things I found is the battery charger for the Spark. Yes, it is big, it looks kind of bulky, but it's not very fragile. You can just toss it in a bag and go. Also, there's room for 3 Spark batteries on here. When you plug it in, it charges all 3 batteries at once, which is huge. I love that. You might not be in a place for very long. You might just be stopping in a restaurant, a coffee shop, a bar, want to get a good charge in, you can do that. It also has 2 USB ports, so you can charge the remote and your phone or your iPad. The battery on the remote lasts a really long time, so you probably won't have to charge it very often. So you can get something else in there charging. You can get like a battery pack in there charging. You can get your iPad charging. You can get other things besides just the phone, the remote charging. But you can charge everything at once, and it really takes maybe an hour and a half to charge everything all the way through. Love it. Absolutely love it. But the upsides for the Mavic Mini is that everything fits in this case. Everything. This is, you just pick up a backpack, done. You're good to go. But the downside with the Mavic Mini, so your battery charger, it does hold 3 batteries, but it only charges 1 battery at a time. Meaning, it takes 90 minutes per battery to charge. So you have 3 batteries. That's 4.5 hours to charge all 3 batteries up. 4.5 hours. That's not something you can just dip into a coffee shop real quick. Oh, I'm checking out these castles, running low on some batteries. All right, well, let's just go grab a beer, get a good charge in, and then we can go back and just, do a lot more filming. You can't do that with the Mavic Mini, and that It's a huge pain in the ass. Also, the charger, yes, it's small, but you can really only charge one thing at a time. There is a USB port on here to maybe charge the remote too, but it's probably going to kill the time that it takes to, it's probably going to slow the time that it takes to charge the batteries, which is just already a big enough hassle as it is. So that's definite downside if you're trying to get a travel drone and you're actually trying to use it a lot. You actually are a heavy user of the drone. You're going to really, put it to use. You're going to travel with it. And if you're really on the move a lot, or in a place that might have sketchy electricity, kind of like the Cook Islands, it's hit or miss there. It's hit or miss in a lot of places. And if you only, hour and a half reliable electricity, Spark, you're going to be able to charge all your batteries, your remote, your phone, everything. Good to go. Also with the Spark is changing propellers. Hold the motor, push down, twist, off. Simple. Same to install. Hold the motor, push down, twist, on. With the Mavic Mini, you're going to have to break out a screwdriver and pull out little screws. That's going to be a total pain. So, which one's better? I don't know. I mean, there's a reason I haven't sold one or the other yet. It's too hard to tell. Like, I'm just too indecisive. I don't know if the video quality and the extra flight time is worth the horrible battery charging time or any of the other like random drawbacks, or if having a little bit more bulk as far as the charger. I don't know. It's your call. All I can do is present what my experiences is so far, and you can take it for what it is and make your own decision. If I had to go back and I could only buy one, I probably wouldn't be too bummed if I didn't buy the Mavic Mini. Like, if I only had the Spark, I'd be totally fine with it. There's a reason I haven't sold the Spark yet. Downside though, with the Spark, since they discontinued it, getting more batteries in the future might be a problem. Getting software updates in the future might be a problem. So, just something to consider. But I mean, you can get a refurbished Spark Fly More combo kit for not very much, but it's still pretty close to the price of the Mavic Mini. So, I'm torn. Do what you want. If you're going to be more casual with it and you're just whatever, you just got a phone in your pocket, you're going to be a little more leisurely when you travel, you're not just on the go all the time like I am, then Mavic Mini. But if you're on the go all the time and you just want to go super light, you can just leave the remote at home. You don't even get a remote. You can just fly it with your phone. Good to go. You really can't go wrong either way. But I've always loved the Spark, but I've been learning to love the Mavic Mini, if that says anything. There's definitely times with the Mavic Mini where I'm just like when I first got it for about 2-3 weeks, I wanted to take it back. Like, I wasn't too thrilled with it, but it's growing on me. And with buying extra stuff to make it work right, it's starting to be better, but I definitely enjoy the Spark more. If I could go back, I'd just get the Spark. So, hope you guys found that video interesting. I'm working on a few more videos that go back to more of the creepy content, more of the interesting, obscure stuff. So, bear with me. During the quarantine, I still have to go to work. And sometimes we're working more hours. So, yep. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you all next time.